Okay, series, I think you need to slow down for like 2 minutes. I mean, we're almost at the end, and it's just like,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Will, and I'm here with my spoiler review for Hawkeye Episode 4. I don't remember the title, sorry. But yeah, this is a spoiler review, as all of these reviews are. So if you're new to the channel, hi. First off, welcome. Thanks for checking me out. But keep in mind, this will be a spoiler review, so I will be spoiling things from the episode, giving my overall thoughts on the episode as well. And before I jump too much into the review, I just want to say thanks for checking me out. If you're new to the channel, like I said just a few seconds ago, I gotta really work on timing. But like I said a few seconds ago, my name's Will. I do reviews and reactions and discussions and other little things all wrapped around geekiness. So if that is your bag and you think you might like to hear this from my perspective, feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'm super close to 400 subscribers. I'd love to hit it before the end of the year. So if you are also just a longtime viewer, someone who just checks out the videos, which again I appreciate so much, but maybe subscribe if you're not subscribed as well. But let's jump right into the review. You don't want to hear me plugging all my own stuff. So this episode picks up immediately after the events of episode 3, where Hawkeye and Kate are basically caught by Jack and her mom Eleanor, and they're interrogated at the beginning of the episode because, of course, your daughter is running around with a superhero. You might want to know why. And the whole episode really focused on Clint's processing and dealing with his emotions around the fact that he lost his best friend. Natasha Romanoff, of course, aka Black Widow, sacrificed herself so the Avengers can get the Soul Stone in Endgame, and he still feels like it should have been him, and a lot of fans feel like it should have been him, but I understand why she made the sacrifice. But this episode very much focuses on her memory and just how much survivor's guilt Clint actually has about the whole thing. And we see another bright side is that, he's starting to warm up to Kate a lot. They have this really sweet little holiday get-together, just the two of them, because Kate does realize that he is giving up the time that he can be spending with his family to help save her and to put to bed the entire Ronin persona and try to clear Kate's name so that she doesn't get in trouble as well. So it's a really cool scene, and it's a really cool mentor-mentee sort of scene where he's showing her how to just use everyday objects instead of just a bow and arrow to, throw them trick shots and stuff like that. So I really like that scene as well. But again, kind of circling back to the concept of how the episode really does bring up Black Widow a lot, is that we get Kate's mother mentioning her because she's fearful for Kate's safety, as well as a lot of iconography in the episode invokes a lot of the things from Endgame. Toward the end of the episode, when Kate falls off of a building, she's dangling on like some wires and hanging on, but the pose that she's on is very reminiscent of what happened with Black Widow when she jumped off the cliff. So there's a lot of triggers that trigger. There's a lot of things in the episode and in the events that lead up towards the showdown at the end. It does invoke a lot of things that trigger Clint's PTSD, basically. So there's that. A lot of secrets are finally revealed to characters in the episode. And another big thing about this episode, besides just the callbacks to Black Widow, we get an idea of what Jack is doing, as well as what Kate's mother is doing, because she makes a phone call after Hawkeye leaves the penthouse, calling to somebody saying that she needs help, or I don't remember the exact wording, but it's not something she wants to do in earshot of Kate. Another thing with Kate in this episode is that she's starting to warm up to this happier side of her mother, this change in her mother with her relationship with Jack. It kind of sucks as it's probably going to end up being a bad thing. But there, like I said, Kate and Clint's relationship throughout the episode, it just continues to grow, which leads to kind of an unfortunate falling out at the end of the episode when they're trying to track down the watch from Avengers Compound, which I'm assuming belonged to Tony Stark, most likely has some sort of secrets on it. This could be a subtle nod or a wink at what they're planning to do with Armor Wars, which is the one of the upcoming series with Don Cheadle, and has to do with Tony Stark's tech falling into the wrong hands. But unfortunately, the watch is actually at Maya Lopez's apartment, which Kate kind of headstrongly goes into the apartment, and that leads to a confrontation between Kate and Maya in her apartment, while Clint has to fight an assailant on the roof. I'll get to the reveal of that in just a second. The pacing of this episode was like breakneck speed, and the entire series has been like that, which I think in the last episode I really mentioned how it felt like it just blew by, and this episode was even quicker. I mean, it's a 40-minute episode, but it felt like 20 minutes, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because I'm starting to feel like I wish this had more episodes to give some of these scenes a chance to breathe. They're trying to shove all of this stuff into 6 episodes, which is a lot to ask for, especially with what they're trying to accomplish with the series. I will say, though, I feel like they're handling it well. It doesn't feel like I'm missing anything. I don't feel like any characters are really being underutilized or underserviced. The focus of the series is definitely on Clint and Kate, and that's where it should be. We're not spending too much time with Jack or Eleanor or anything like that, and everything seems to be wrapping up to conclude together in the finale, which is a good thing. And I think that's one of the strengths of the series, that even though it feels like they're rushing, it doesn't feel like the important beats are missing. I just feel like it would be better if they had a little bit more chance to breathe and to kind of flesh out a little bit more. And like, even though we know Jack is kind of the bad guy, which he was holding the Ronin sword up to Hawkeye's neck, but Hawkeye was able to swipe it unbeknownst to Jack, so he finally had all of the remaining pieces of the Ronin persona in his possession. So that kind of wrapped up that storyline, but it was so quick where you didn't even really notice it in the episode. So I guess that thread is done. And they tease some things about new outfits for both Kate and Clint by revisiting the LARPers that we saw in episode 2, who are going to do him a favor they're doing it as a favor, I guess, by association with Clint and Kate. But this is all Kate's doing because obviously, remember, Clint doesn't believe himself to be a hero. And that also leads to one of the other reveals of the episode, is that Kate figures out that Clint was Ronin. But she doesn't, it's nothing that affects her viewpoint of who Clint is. She still sees him as a hero. And I think she will be integral in his plot point through the rest of the series of learning how to live with that, and also seeing that the good that you've done will outweigh that bad, and that you have the potential to be more than what you are. And that's the whole concept of Kate's character throughout this entire series, is really kind of pushing Clint to be more of who he is, or at least more of who she sees him as, because he doesn't see that in himself. One other thing that probably gets dropped in this series, which is kind of weird considering they're the focal point of the series, is Hawkeye's family. They are literally on the sideline. He's got 2 episodes to try to get home for Christmas, and you can start seeing it on his kids' faces that they're disappointed again. I don't know where this is leading. Are the kids just going to resent him? Are we going to get a season 2? I don't know if we're getting a season 2. I really don't know at this point with 2 episodes to go. I was surprised that Loki got a season 2, but it kind of made sense when Loki ended. But it's very indicative of their family. Besides his wife, nobody really cares. I mean, I hate to say it, but even the bonding scene between Clint and Kate in the apartment during their little Christmas shindig seemed kind of cheapened the whole message of he wants to spend time with his kids, because Kate's probably going to end up just being adopted by them. Those are a lot of the points in the episode, but the big reveal came at the end of the episode, or towards the end, when they're dealing with breaking into Maya Lopez's apartment to steal the watch, and that goes wrong. Clint believes he is fighting her on the rooftop, while Kate is actually fighting her inside of the apartment. Once everyone converges on the other roof, we see who our assailant actually is, and again, no big surprise. It is Yelena Belova, the sister of Black Widow, who we were first introduced to in Black Widow, and honestly, who stole the show from that movie. But she is enacting her revenge that she was put forth on the path to by Val at the end in the post-credit scene, the Black Widow. If you haven't seen the movie, I said spoilers at the beginning. You've been warned. But obviously Clint does not know who she is directly. He just knows that she is a Black Widow because, of course, the tech that she was using while going toe-to-toe with both Clint, Kate, and Maya. It's like a weird Mexican showdown or whatever is the term that people use now for it. Maya ends up leaving. She just runs away, which... it was like, I kind of felt like she didn't need to be in this episode, but she was, and I just don't know what they're going to do with her character in the next 2 episodes, so that's another thing that I feel like the speed that this series is going is kind of hurting some things, but overall it hasn't done too much to kind of detract from my enjoyment of it. At this point, unfortunately, we do have our falling out between Clint and Kate because Clint has just been shaken by this reveal of this Black Widow showing up, who's clearly out to get him, and he doesn't want to be responsible for losing anyone else. He kind of pushes Kate away, tells her to just drop it, go home. We know Kate's not going to drop it and go home. That's just her personality and her character. But it is that sort of weird falling out moment that I felt like was going to happen in the series leading up towards the finale. So it makes sense that it happens in episode 4. So episode 5, we kind of spend a little bit of time between Clint and Kate separate from each other. And probably by the end of that episode, they'll reunite right before the finale. And we've gotten the teases that, Hawkeye will get a signature suit or a signature outfit that's going to stand out more than his classic black that he's been wearing through most of his run in the MCU. But I did like the reveal of Yelena. Granted, I already knew she was going to be in the series. That was no big surprise. I was just wondering when she was going to show up and how much she was going to be in the series. I'm assuming with the speed that the series is going, this is going to get wrapped up in the next episode leading to the finale. I don't know if she's going to partner up with him. Obviously, she's got some dealings with Val. I don't know where that's going to go. So there are a lot more questions and answers as we're getting down to the final 2 episodes of the season or the series. I don't know if we're getting a season 2 yet. I hope we get a season 2. I think it would be good. It'd be a good way to kind of flesh out some things, but it depends on what happens. I honestly don't know what to expect in the finale. Maybe they'll finally kill off Clint and then Kate will take up the mantle. But then that's my only downside is if that is the decision that ends up happening, then it's really just going to put the nail in the coffin on the whole family storyline. I think having this timeline of he's trying to get home for Christmas works and kind of explains why it's so fast paced, why everything's happening so quickly to the point where you don't get a chance to breathe. It does invoke that feeling of that, you're running out of time because he has a deadline he's trying to meet, and it works for the pacing that they're trying to achieve, but I think it also is a hindrance because some things like fleshing out more of Echo's character and her reasoning and where this turn is going to come in to where she's going to get her own spin-off, unless she's going to serve as a villain in her own spin-off, similar to something like Agatha Harkness with her spin-offs that's coming. So it's unclear as of right now, but hopefully we'll get some reveals in the next 2 episodes. I'm interested to see what Kate does next because clearly Hawkeye's pushed her away because he doesn't want to lose someone else that he is close to. And we see throughout the episode that he's slowly but surely getting closer to Kate. But all of these images and iconography that's reminding him of Natasha is just forcing him to put up those walls again. And that's the goal of the next 2 episodes, is to break those walls down so he can become the hero that he's meant to be and should have been for a long time. But overall, I think it's a solid episode. I'm glad that we got our reveal of Yelena Belova back, and so that sort of tease wasn't dropped. I'm curious to see where they take Echo for these last 2 episodes. Are we going to get another big reveal or 2? Some things were said by Kevin Feige regarding a horned, blind vigilante who should be making his MCU debut pretty soon, or maybe not. I don't think it's going to happen in here. I think someone else is going to make a debut in here, and the horned person will make a debut in a later movie or something. I'm talking about Charlie Cox's Daredevil. Why am I don't know. Don't ask me why I was trying to hide that. This is spoilers, of course. But overall, solid episode. Have fun with it. It moved so quickly that I didn't realize it was over until it was over, and I was kind of bummed. But we got 2 more episodes coming up, and that'll be it. So that's my thoughts on episode 4 of Hawkeye. I'm sure I've missed a couple things. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching this and all my videos. I really do appreciate it. Again, subscribe to the channel if you are new, or if you have just been a great watcher of my videos for some time and you just haven't subscribed to the channel. Come on, help me out. I'm almost at 400. Really make my Christmas, or make my New Year's, whatever you want to call it. You can follow me on all social media listed at the end of this video. Like, share, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And as always, until next time, I will catch you later. Hey, thanks for watching this video. If you did like this video, why not give me a thumbs up and share it with your friends? You can subscribe to the channel by clicking on my gorgeous little face right over there. You can follow me on all the various social media platforms right below. And last but certainly not least, if you've got a few extra minutes, why not check out one of the lovely videos floating right over here. Later.